Oh man, pie season is among us. So let's make some pie. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Pie season is almost among us. So you know what that means. We'll be busting out the apple pie, pecan pie, sweet potato pie, pumpkin pie here real soon for either Mass-giving or Christmas. I don't know if those are actual terms, but I feel like they're gonna be relevant here real soon. Full disclosure, I don't really even like pumpkin pie, and so that's why I decided to make my own recipe to my taste. The perfect pumpkin pie to me will be one that's custard based, so the filling is nice and thick, nice and rich, real smooth when you cut through it. And then also, due to the fact that I'm a bit lazy and I don't always want to make an all butter crust, I want a cookie crumb crust to put underneath my filling. Now, the cookie crumb crust is advantageous to me for a couple reasons. One being that usually during the holidays I make a bunch of my ginger snap cookies, and then if they don't all get eaten up in a week, then I could take those cookies, those same cookies, and make a crust for my pumpkin pie. So that'd be really nice for me. Also, the cookie crumb crust is very simple to put together. It doesn't require any advanced technique. It only requires like really 2 ingredients: cookies and butter, or some type of fat, right? Preferably butter, because butter is anyway, that's beside the point. Those 2 things are what I would consider a perfect pumpkin pie recipe. Now, all recipes are challenges, and so with those 2 goals in mind, let's go ahead and check out my first attempt at a pumpkin pie recipe. So first what I did was I needed a pumpkin puree. I figured it'd be the longest step, so I went and carved up my pumpkin, chopped it up into small pieces, and then put that in a pot with equal amounts of milk. I brought that to a boil and then a simmer, and I let it simmer until it was nice and soft. It took about 15-ish minutes. Then, once it was soft, I strained the liquid away because I didn't want my puree to be too wet, and blended it up hard in a blender. Once I was done, I put it into a new container, and boom, my puree was done. Next, I moved on to my crust. Like I said, I wanted a cookie crumb crust. So I made a cookie crumb crust with some butter, some salt, and a little bit of sorghum syrup. I added enough butter until the cookie crumbs could be squeezed together, and then I pressed that into a pie plate. Once I had that done, I popped it in the freezer and moved on to my next step, which was making my custard filling. I took out my stand mixer, added all my ingredients together, and mixed until well combined. Now, if you take a look at this, you would notice it's a little bit loose, but either way, I pressed on and dumped it out into my pie plate. I baked it off at 350 for about 90 minutes. I covered the edges with foil about halfway through because things were getting a little risky. I pulled it out once my watchful eye noticed the pie still had jiggle and the top had been brown. But as you can see, things went a little awry with our crust. I figured the filling was too wet and thought if I added some starch, in this case tapioca starch, it would help. So I did everything again, made my custard, added all ingredients, and mixed until well combined. I then poured that into my crust and baked it at 350, this time for about 55 minutes. Surely the starch would bind up any loose water and right my wrongs, right? You thought I was going to do the big dramatic reveal, huh? Well, you're right. And I would have done the dramatic reveal had I not got annoyed and just stopped filming for the day. I already knew it was a bomb when I saw it go in. So after my second attempt, I decided, well, let me take a break and kind of recollect my thoughts and then troubleshoot the problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and taste the pies and troubleshoot them on camera. Okay, so pie number 1 reminds me of like every pie you would get at a church bake-off or a church bake sale or you know, your grandmother might have made it. This pie reminds me of that. All right, this pie tastes like I gave up on cooking. It's overbaked, and there's too much tapioca flour in it. It tastes and actually tastes really good, just like this pie. But this also has, I would say this has more technical flaws here than in the first attempt. This pie tastes like frustration. This pie tastes like annoyance. So in my opinion, we're close here. Like, we can correct technical flaws. That's just, you can correct those just by practice and repetition. This one was further off in terms of execution. But once again, the flavors are all there. And if you like this very, very, very soft pie that's not really a custard, but more like a very sweet puree or very sweet mash, then this pie will probably really, you probably really enjoy this pie. I'm trying to go for perfection. I'm trying to execute the idea. So, we're going back to the drawing board. So what did we learn? So from our first two attempts, we learned that all the problems that came with the pie stemmed from a filling that was way too wet. So I thought, if I could just cook the pumpkin without water, that would give me more control over the final texture of the puree once it's done cooking, after I blend it. Now there's two ways to do this. One involves a sous vide, which not everybody has, and it's really complicated and it requires a whole bunch of research on some of the stuff, which I ain't got time for. And the second is something you're gonna have to find out in the next video. Take care, stay safe, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. We out, baby.